You've been trading prop firms wrong this entire time, and that's why you've been blowing accounts non-stop. Stick to the end if you want to see the best system for you to become profitable consistently. Let me know if this has ever happened to you. You get a new prop firm account, and for the first couple of days, it's going pretty well. You're sticking to your system, your emotional side is under control, and you just seem to be making good trade after good trade. And then almost out of nowhere, you hit a small bump, and then another. And then you're like, okay, this isn't anything. My system accounts for this. It's a small stop. And then a couple of days later, you find yourself in a slump, losing left, right, and center. You go out seeking revenge trades and you're just pissed at everything and you blow yet another account. Does this sound familiar? Or how about once you actually pass the prop firm challenge, you decide to up the ante a little bit and just trade a little bit bigger, and the next thing you know, you just blew the account you worked weeks to get? Listen, I totally get it. Every funded trader has been there and done that. That's why I made this 3-step guideline for you to be able to pass every prop firm test without blowing account after account. So, without further ado, here are the 3 steps. First is to trade small. Depending on the prop firm you choose, your drawdown will be different. For this example, I will be using Apex because that's the one I personally use, and I feel like they basically all work the same. They all have the same blueprint. So using the 25K account, for example, we can see that it has a 1.5 trailing drawdown. What exactly does that mean? Well, it means that you can only lose 1.5K before you blow the account. So if at any point in time you lose 1.5K before you get approved, which in this case is making 1.5K, you lose the account. It goes without saying that we do not want that to happen. Now they, and by they I mean every single prop firm out there, wants you to trade big and take chances and risk everything every single time for you to get approved in as little time as possible. And that's how they win. They want you to trade big and blow the account immediately, and we all know how easy that is to happen. They want you to trade with one mini contract or more. And for those of you who don't know, one mini contract is only $20 per point on the NASDAQ, so you only need the market to go against you 75 points on the NASDAQ. That's such a small movement that any pullback could kill your account, and that's exactly what they want. Sure, it only takes 75 points to pass your account, but is that really how you want to trade, by risking everything every single time you trade with no plan or actual strategy? What happens when you lose your emotional control after you take a small stop? I'll tell you, you revenge trade and then you lose everything. That's why I do not trade with mini contracts, only micro. You may be wondering to yourself, well, a micro is so small though, it's 10 times less than a mini, so I'm going to be making 10 times less. Yes, you're absolutely correct, but you're also going to be losing 10 times less. Losing is inevitable. Everyone does it, and it's okay. But the fact that you can lose more times and still be able to not blow your account is better than losing once and starting from scratch. With micro contracts, you can hold your positions for longer, especially when they come against you. How many times has it happened to you where you put on a trade, it moves slightly in your favor and then comes right back down to your stop and then explodes in the direction you wanted it to go, to the direction you knew it was going to go to? It's happened too many times for me to keep track of, so that's why you trade small. Sure, you don't win as much, but you don't lose as much. You don't blow through an account a day. You can hold positions for longer, which basically means having more faith in your system, in your edge that you spent so long on. Okay, that's the first thing. The second is leverage. And by leverage, I mean leveraging more accounts and not contracts. Typically, when people see a return and it's not big enough, it's not as much as they hoped, what do? They say, F it, let's add another contract, and then another, until the day they blow their account. Why does this happen? They could be following their system to the T, so why do they blow through accounts? Well, through the power of multiplication. And why do they add another account? Well, because it's never enough. They always want more and more and more until they lose everything. It's like King Midas and his gold touch. So what do these people think when they keep adding contract after contract after contract? Let me tell you, this is exactly what goes on through their heads. If I make $100 with one contract, I can make the same 100 with 2 contracts in half the time and half the distance. And so on and so forth with 3, 4, 5, 10. It never stops. So what happens when you lose? What people fail to consider is that their system isn't usually based on monetary value. It's based on points, including their stops. And with the typical strategy, it's going to give them the slight edge, but over time, it adds up. Now, it may be all good and dandy when it works and you're doubling every single time, but when you eventually go, let's say, 4 contracts and you take a full stop because your edge tells you to do so, and because you need to follow your system, you take that stop, you lose more than what you made just by doubling those contracts. But not even just that. When you start leveraging contracts, you expose yourself to not being able to hold positions for longer or not being able to follow your system entirely. The sole thing that got you there, the reason for your success, the thing you have banked on the entire time, and you're not following it because you want to make money right now and you want to be greedy. Don't think this doesn't happen, because it does very often. I've seen countless, and I truly mean countless traders, even the same ones, making the same mistake over and over, going through accounts as if they'd rather lose it than pass it. I've had conversations with a guy who spent over $10,000 on account fees because he does the same thing over and over again. He trades small and then makes a little, and then he adds a contract, and then he wins a little bit more, and then he adds another contract, and then another, and then another, until the day he loses everything because he just couldn't control himself. Don't lose your hard-earned progress just because you lost your emotional control, or because you got greedy, always wanting more and never being satisfied. So what should you do instead? Add an account. And if that's not enough, add another one, and then add another one, and then copy trade. It's the same amount of work. You still press the same button at the same time, following the same exact strategy, except it's spread out. And you can again trade small, but in more quantity. Here's an example. You have 2 accounts linked. You press buy and you make $100 because of your system. So you make $100 in one account, but then on the other account, you also made $100 for the same amount of work. Now, I understand it's a little bit hard for people to grasp this concept, but it's what most of the best traders in the world do. It's easier to make $100 on 10 accounts than it is to make $1,000 on one account. I do the exact same. Look at my accounts, all making small amounts, but in many accounts. This is the key to beating the game, to beat the prop firm, to become profitable. It's to trade small, but in lots of accounts, especially if it's not enough. Let's say you need $2,000 by the end of the month. Would you rather risk everything on a single trade with the possibility of making it all at once, but also losing it all at once? Or making small amounts consistently that add up and give you more opportunities to trade your system without the threat of blowing your account? I'm going to be honest, I know which one I would choose, especially since $2,000 is only $200 in 10 accounts. That's really only 2 to 4 days worth of trades if you trade really small. You get the same amount of profit if you were to trade big without having the risk of blowing your account. It's really a no-brainer. And finally, the third thing is to follow the system. I cannot stress this enough. Follow the system. There has to be a reason why you put in so many hours of screen time, skipped parties, flaked on plans to create the perfect system for you to trade and make money. So why don't you follow it? You spent so much time on it, just follow it to the T. And if it doesn't work, after a while, adjust and go again, just like everybody else. But most people don't want that. They don't want to skip out on life to craft a system, and that's completely okay. I get it. In fact, that's why me and my team did it for you. And let me tell you, the system is very good. It's almost perfect. In fact, it's so good, it takes almost all of the variables and factors out of the question. All you have to do is follow the Quantico Cap system. What even is the Quantico Cap system? To answer that, we have to go to my screen. So what is the secret? What is the secret to passing every single prop firm account you could ever have? What's the secret to making money consistently every single day, day in and day out? Well, my friends, it's actually the Quantico Cap system. This is the system that produces real results for real life people all the time. It takes out all of the emotional and risk management. It takes it all out of the equation. All you have to do is follow the signals it gives you. You do what it tells you to do when it tells you to do it. How is this different from any of the other indicators I was previously talking bad about? Well, let's get right into it. So first off, you have the main screen. This is the screen you're going to see when you need to sign up. You're going to log in. You would press register, but I'm just going to log in here. And then you're taken to this place. This is the dashboard. Now, this dashboard is very good. It has the indicator, which is where you go to actually access the indicator, the Discord group. So you click here and you're automatically invited to the Discord group where all of our community is, where you're going to get the daily profits. You're going to ask for help. You're going to ask for anything you could possibly need that the community could help. They're going to help you. And you could take it as a learning opportunity and ask so many questions because everybody has a sense of wanting to help, a sense of camaraderie. This is truly a community that cares about each other. After that, you're going to have your tutorials tab, which is where all of the tutorials that you could possibly need are all on here. Whenever we do a webinar, it's all going to be here. After that, you have the back test. You would click it to see the back test of the previous months of how well the indicator actually did. After that, you have your shareable links, which is where you would share and become an affiliate. And then you have your leads tracker, where you would see how many leads you have on what tier and things like that. After that, you have your marketing material. We give you free marketing material to promote long form, short form content. We give you posts, we give you hashtags, we give you captions, anything you could possibly need to market it. And then we have courses. On the courses tab, not only do we have actual courses that you should definitely watch, but we also have PDFs and guides that are over 70 pages long that explain every single intricate detail about the actual platform. But enough of that, let's get into the actual indicator and why you should care. Going in, this is the advanced layout. You can see there's so much information here that no regular person could ever just decipher it off of the bat. Well, I'm telling you right now that you actually don't need to. The beauty about this system is that it gives you the signals based off of all of this information here and more. It gives you a buy, a sell, a take profit, a stop loss, and a break even all on its own. All you have to do is follow the system. And now, what is the system based on? Well, I can tell you one thing. It's not based off of any historical on the graph, bar graph, lines, anything like that. Nothing that has happened in the past. Now you might be asking yourself, what does that even mean? I see a whole bunch of things that look like MACDs and some bars and SMAs and anything like that. Well, this is actually completely different. This is all of their own proprietary system. Everything here was created by Quantico Cap for a reason, and you can actually add so much more to your layouts. You can create your own layout like I have. But this is just the advanced layout. Let me show you the basic, the intermediate, and then my own. So go in here, you would click here and go to your basic, and you can see 3 charts. You have your NDX, which is for NASDAQ, your SPX, and another SPX, which is for the S&P 500. Then you have these things. This is very important, but we'll get into that later once you're actually into the platform. Let's talk about what really matters, the signals. Now, these signals are based off of market makers. What are market makers? Market makers are the people that have billions and billions of dollars that judge where the market should go. They're banks, institutionals, anybody that has power to move the market somewhere, they're a market maker. And we track them. The system will only give you when all of those lines, all of those bars that you saw before align into a way where we can see where the market maker is trying to push the price because the price has to go somewhere. In fact, this system is so good, it has 4 different types. So first is the NDX regular. This is only going to give you a signal whenever all of the conditions align. After that, we have the SPX aggressive, extreme, and moderate. And you can actually change that by going here and choosing your signal group. The moderate will only give you a signal when there's an 80% chance or more of success. The aggressive will only give you a signal when there's a 60% chance or more of success. And then the extreme will only give you a signal when there's a 50% chance or more of success. However, that's not all. The moderate and the aggressive systems give you break evens, stop losses, and take profits all on its own. So it does the risk management for you. And now you can choose to follow the system to a T if you want. And that's how you're going to pass all the prop firm accounts and actually start making money. The extreme just gives you signals whenever the conditions align as well. Now let's go into my actual layout, the one that I personally use, and explain to you what I mean about market makers. So here's my layout, and you're going to see a couple of bars, some lines that really don't mean anything to you right now, and that's totally okay. With time, you're going to eventually learn these bars just because they're super easy to learn. These bars right here actually show you where the market makers want the price to go. The bigger the bar, the higher the interest, the more likely the price to go there. There's a whole bunch of other calculations that go into it, but that's basically it. This system is based off of the market makers, how they move the market. And using the system, we can actually see where they're going to move the price. The system then anticipates it and gives you a signal. And again, you can actually choose your risk management strategy. If you want to go extreme or aggressive or moderate or on the NASDAQ, you can choose what you want to do according to your own system. Now, this system is amazing. It's better than any graph analysis or technical analysis or anything based off of previous bars, just because that's all history. Everything has changed. The liquidity has changed. The positions of market makers have changed. Anybody who knows anything about the market has changed throughout the day. They've adjusted their positions, and so the market adjusts as well. I can do an entire video series about how graph analysis and technical analysis doesn't work. It's 50-50 at best. This has to work because this is the logic of the market. In fact, this system is so good that the banks, institutional market makers, they use their own system that's based off of this, off of these bars. Everybody in the entire market, the entire financial market that actually knows what they're doing, sees the same things as you will. This system is amazing. It's the best system I have ever used. I can comfortably say that I've made more money using this system than I have ever have before. This system has helped hundreds and hundreds of people pass their prop firm accounts and actually become successful and become profitable traders consistently. Using this system, they make money every single day, and you can too. In fact, this system is so good you won't even believe what it's priced at. It's only $200 a month. You get all of this information plus everything more for $200 a month. And let me tell you, that is a steal because you're not going to want to go back to your previous system. It's $200 a month for something that gives you the opportunity to become profitable consistently. And actually, if you follow their own business plan, a business plan that I talk about, you could be making $200 a day. Not even, you could be making $1,000 a day. And who wouldn't want that? If this doesn't knock your socks off, I don't know what will. There you have it. The 3 steps to trade prop firms the right way. Trade small, leverage accounts and not contracts, and use the Quantico Cap system. If you're interested in learning more, please watch my other videos, check out my Instagram, and go to the Quantico Cap website through the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and good trades.